Good day, everyone. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us as we dive into preset appointment options from IAMS. I'm joined today by Rob Markovitz, our appointment setting expert. I do have some important information to share about who we are at IAMS and a quick highlight about why agents love working with our team. We do have 3 poll questions today. We'll be asking those during the webinar. Please do participate in that. Additionally, if you have any questions for Rob or I, you can just simply put those in the questions tab and we will get to those there at the end. The first thing I wanted to highlight today is our commitment to delivering best-in-class customer service. One way that we do this is we always answer the phone with a live person during business hours. So when you call, you're never going to have to worry about a dial-by-name directory, leaving a voicemail and wondering when that's going to get responded to. You're going to get picked up by a live person and taken care of that day. We do try to get to those phone calls within 2 to 3 rings. Our new producer builders are for those of you who are new to us over here at IAMS. These bonuses are available based on your production level in your first 180 days of contracting with us. We do have several different great levels that you can qualify for, and as you can see inside each one are some awesome options for you. There's going to be business building tools, personal perks, and even cash rewards. If you'd like to know where you stand towards your new producer builder, or if you'd like to have a conversation about how to achieve the next level, please give us a call and talk to your sales director. Another business builder program we provide for our agents is our referred producer program. I do see a couple advisors on with us today that have taken advantage of this program. Our business on the wholesale side of the industry is similar to yours in the field, and that one of the best leads we could ever obtain is a referral from one of our valued producers. This is why we want to make it worth your while when you refer a producer to us. That being said, when you do get someone over to us and they contract, you're going to get a $50 thank you check. Now, that's a great way to start it off, but when it gets even better is when your referral writes business, you're going to receive an override. Our ownership team, Charles, Steve, Curtis, and Chris, sign checks for tens of thousands of dollars every quarter. With that being said, if you can think of anyone that could benefit from doing business with our team, please type their information in that questions box or send me an email at timw@iamsinc.com with their contact information, and I will reach out to them today. We can get you that contract or that referred check here in the next week or so. Below that is our market reimbursement program, which is our most popular program that we offer. For every $100,000 in fixed indexed annuity premium, you're going to get $100 into your marketing reimbursement account. Why this is our most popular program is we do consider that those funds your marketing reimbursement. We don't tell you where you have to spend the money, when you have to spend the money. You have the flexibility on what services and when and who you're going to utilize those. We can also utilize our in-house creative team to create those one-off and specialized marketing programs for you and utilize those marketing dollars for that as well. If you do have any questions on how to utilize any of these programs, definitely reach out to us and we'd love to go over those in more detail. Back office support, this is a way that we add value to your business. You get to put us on your staff without your payroll. This is a core of IAMS and how Charles Hearing founded us over 36 years ago. We want to help the independent advisor work smarter, not harder. We're going to do this with great business building tools and resources. Of course, advanced case design assistance for life and annuity quotes is an area that we will assist with. Going to get those quotes back to you, guaranteed within 24 hours, but typically it's going to be about an hour or two. Nick, Nikita, and Hunter do a fantastic job for us, and they are, I would say, illustration experts. Submission to commission support is handled by our new business team. Mackenzie heads up the annuity side, while Michelle is leading the life team. They have fantastic teams who work tirelessly to help you get commissioned quicker. They're going to scrub your applications, submit them on your behalf, and do the administrative tracking to get you, as well as get you updates on the case as needed. We do this to ensure you get commissioned as quickly as possible. This is a service that we provide to our valued producers and how we help you grow your business by keeping you in front of clients while our team handles the back office support for you. Our website is a phenomenal tool and resource for our producers to use, and another reason to work with us over here at IAMS. Once you're contracted, you will have full access to everything that you see on this slide, plus so much more. If you haven't registered for the website, it is simple to do. When we're done with this call, go ahead and create an account. We'd love to see you out there. If you do have any questions on how to get the most out of that website, just let me know. As a heads up, we do have our illustration tools, online forms, product grids, product news, as well as industry updates on our website. Firelight e-apps plus other e-apps that you can see on there. Now, this is a single source sign-on at IAMSinc.com. You can just sign into our website and then have access to all the carriers that we've partnered with at one site. Technology is where the industry is going, and Firelight is a top-notch site streamlining the application process. Most of our carriers are on the e-app platform, so you can go onto one site and submit business. It is COVID-friendly, and some carriers are going to e-app only for some of their product lines, and will also offer additional commissions for utilizing the e-app platform. Make sure you ask your sales director before you submit a paper app if you can earn more money by doing an e-app. Utilizing our Firelight platforms accelerates the application process substantially. The e-app platform helps you submit business in good order the first time. This also reduces the processing time of your business and helps you get paid quicker. As I mentioned previously, this is a single sign-on at IAMSinc.com, and we've integrated our business with Firelight so you can have the most efficient and effective way to submit your business. We do have that full in-house creative team that I brought up earlier when we were talking about marketing reimbursement. Now, they can help you and your practice with a lot of items that are simply turnkey and available for us to add your business information and logos onto it. Speaking of logos, Agency Solutions is an area of expertise for our team. If you haven't created a fully customized brand for you and your agency, we can help. This is going to assist you with name recognition, which grows your natural market organically. Lastly, digital marketing solutions are a very popular topic around IAMS. We can help you with websites, social media marketing, email marketing, and more. The internet and social media sites are where the overwhelmingly majority of prospects go to for information. Making sure that you are accessible and represented in those marketing lanes is beneficial to growing your business. Reach out to myself or one of our sales directors once this webinar concludes to see how our in-house creative team can help take your agency to that next level. We founded IAMS Wealth over 6 years ago now. What we've done is grow this division on IAMS very organically. We've helped advisors become IARs and pass the Series 65 at a very successful clip. Once we've got you registered, we will bring great value to your practice with an incredibly competitive fee structure for both you and your clientele. Additionally, we've got a great technology and investment platform. This has been a major growth sector for our business, and assets under management could be a major growth sector for your business as well. Just a couple more slides here, and we'll get into those preset appointment options with Rob. We'll be hosting our first academy this May 15th through the 17th in Des Moines, Iowa. These two-day trainings are an excellent opportunity for our agents who are looking for new ways to grow their business. IAMS does cover all of the expenses on the academy, giving you an opportunity to learn from our other top producers as well. We're going to go over marketing strategies that they've used to get from the bottom to the top. It also gives you a chance to speak with your peers in the industry from all over the country. Definitely, if you haven't come out to one of these events, would highly recommend that you come out to one of them at some point, as it is just a phenomenal opportunity out there. With that, I'm going to go ahead and launch our first poll. I meant to do this 2 slides ago, so apologies on that. But our first poll is AUM part of your business? Well, you're out there answering that one for me. I want to talk to you about a couple of trips that we have qualification open for. First is our Summit by the Sea, as well as we've got our Trek to Quebec. 2 qualification trips going right now. One will be wrapping up at the end of June. But then the other one is in qualification all the way through the end of next June. So if you are interested in attending one of those top producer trips, we would love to let you know where you're at on that production goal and answer any questions that you have. I'm going to go ahead and close that first poll. Appreciate everybody hopping on there. Thank you very much. Well, you've got those mice and all booted up in the system. Let's go for that second poll question, and that is, did you use any paid marketing strategies in 2023? Or let's go ahead and include this first quarter in 2024. Definitely let us know if you used any paid marketing strategies, or maybe you're working your book and existing clients. Just give this a couple more seconds here, and then we will get going on with the preset appointments. As a reminder, if you do have any questions while Rob is talking, definitely do not hesitate to toss those in. We'd love to get those answered for you. Going to go ahead and close this poll. Appreciate everybody who hopped on there as well. So as I mentioned, today's top topic is our virtual preset appointments. This is a way that you can get leads and appointments pre-filled onto your calendar. I'm joined today by Rob Markovitz, our appointment setting expert. He's got a lot of great information, has been in the business doing what we're doing today, which is getting agents in front of clients so you guys can do what you do, work with them, and not have to worry about all of the marketing on the back end that goes into getting in front of those clients. So with that, Rob, we'll go ahead and kind of turn it on over here to you and get going with some options.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you for spending some time with us today. We're excited to have you here. Some big opportunities. I always look at agents and I go, hey, we're halfway through the second quarter. I talk about football games a lot, right? And we don't wait for the fourth quarter and look at the scoreboard and go, oh man, we're 3 touchdowns behind at the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter. So, you guys probably set a goal about 5 months ago at the beginning of the year. Maybe personally, hopefully you set one for your business as well. And if you're doing the same thing you did last year, you're going to get the same result. So, like I said, keep score. One of the biggest issues in the insurance business is just, hey, how do I keep my pipeline full? And that's where IAMS and these appointment systems can help you for sure. There's a variety of systems, and we're going to kind of go over the generalized, 10,000 foot overview of really what they're about. But the cool thing about these, and I'm going to give you like 3 or 4 basic bullet points, is just an overview side, is number one, these are appointment setting systems. They're not lead systems. These guys actually create, sell, deliver one appointment one time to a single agent. Way different than leads. The averages on national averages on leads in every industry is, if you buy 100 of them, you typically have, the first 60 people don't answer the phone. The next 30 of them are take me off the list for the 50th time because the list has been sold 150 times, and you got a shot at the last 10. The problem with the shot at the last 10 is a lot of them are like, well, I just registered because I wanted to get a gift card or win a free iPad or whatever. So the next thing about all these appointment companies, at least that I deal with through IAMS, is that they don't give away anything for free to set up an appointment. They engage them about their pension and retirement. And, when I talk to agents, those are the 2 biggest challenges I hear out of them is, if I ask them, hey, what are the biggest challenges? It's usually, how do I meet a new client? Well, meeting a new client's pretty easy. You could go to lunch, you're sitting there at the restaurant, bar, whatever it is, having lunch, and you can start chatting up the person beside you, and you do meet somebody. The big challenge is, and what I would say to you, all of you guys have some contact in your phone, somebody you go maybe bowling with, you go to movies with, whatever, that you do have some interaction with, but you've never got them to pass their finances across the table. So meeting somebody's easy. It's how do you get them to pass their finances across the table? That becomes the challenge. The nice thing with these appointments, like I said, they're not about winning a free iPad. They're about, hey, would you like to know more about your pension and your retirement? So that would be the next thing. The other thing is, and we'll get into that a little bit deeper on these 4 bullet points, but the last thing is what's cool about this system is when they do engage a client, the client actually creates the appointment. So they set the date and the time for the appointment, and then the system grabs the appointment and kind of looks at your availability. So we'll get into that in a little minute. You know, one of the things, Tim just had that slide up about the COVID thing. You don't need to go back, Tim, but you know, pre-COVID, you know, everybody's driving, right? It's I pick my keys up off the nightstand, you know, started my car up, drove through traffic for an hour, and you get to an appointment that hopefully is held. The nice thing now and what these guys are doing is everything's virtual. Um, you're meeting with educators, state employees, college, university professors, employees, federal employees. Those are basically the 4 areas where these companies create appointments. The nice thing about it is everything's virtual. And for some of you guys, I know that's a little bit of a challenge, but really it is quite easy. You know, you're going to leave your keys on the nightstand, the car in the garage. You're going to go the keys on your desktop or your phone, right? And that's what's going to start up, you know, is punching those buttons there. And there's quite a few people that are being very, very successful. I mean, Tim and I and the team over at IAMS can tell you story after story after story of people doing extremely well working virtually. I just got off the phone early this morning with a group of guys out of Florida. A few of them are originally from Pennsylvania. They're still licensed in Pennsylvania, but they haven't been back there in, you know, 5-10 years. All their families down in Florida now, but they're right in business in both places. So, I mean, that's a huge opportunity on that side. The the targets, Tim, like I said, has that slide up. Educators, that'd be the K through 12 employee system. State employees is going to be like, think about city, county, municipalities. So, you know, that would be firemen, policemen, or police officers, I should say, to be politically correct, right? And workers, you know, the mayor or whatever, the employees that work at a city or county. The colleges, that's kind of a no-brainer one. So you can pick, you know, hey, I want to run the state of Michigan. You could get, you know, the University of Michigan, you could get Michigan State University and any other university that's in that area or in that state, I should say. Federal employees, on that side of it, a real quick blip on that. The federal employee market's a good market. It's very compressed. The nice thing about that market is, you know, once you know the federal pension, doesn't matter whether clients from California or Florida, right? The federal pension's the federal pension. So makes it a little bit easier to review, if that makes any sense, on that side. So, Tim, I don't know, do you have another slide you're going to flip up? I can't remember what you have
Yeah,
on there next, but
for sure. Yeah,
let's
nope,
see
here
what's
we
on
go.
there, baby. So and this is talking about, you know, the appointments and how they're created. I just went over a little bit of it, but essentially most of this stuff is done digitally. And, you know, you agents out there, I'm going to tell you what, a couple things. You're probably not a professional marketer. I always tell everybody to stay in their lane. Um, you know, once in a while, I have an agent go, hey, you know, well, these people aren't even being talked to. You do not want to, and it doesn't matter whether you get appointments from me through one of the systems I represent or anybody else. You do not want to use a system where somebody's calling to schedule an appointment. I'll tell you why, is because that person is paid to do what? Schedule an appointment. And so typically, you know, we've all had them on the phone. You get a bulldog on the phone, right? And they won't let you off. And they're like, well, no, hey, you just need to meet with somebody. Hey, you want to make sure your retirement's covered, don't you? Yeah, yeah. You finally just give up on it. The guy goes, oh, yeah, hey, so Tuesday at 3 o'clock, you know, and they're trying to slam dunk you into a spot. And you go, yeah, Tuesday at 3 o'clock's fine. Well, that's great. The appointment was made. The only problem is when you call the client, it's a no-show, right? Because the client really didn't want to be there. So one of the nice things about these systems is when we, you know, when we reach out to these clients, we're talking to them about their pension and retirement. And an example would be, you know, hey, Sally Sue, would you like to know more about your pension and retirement? It's either a yes or no. If it's yes, of course, if it's no, we let them go by the side there. But if it's yes, we engage them a little bit more. Hey, would you like to know when you can retire? Would you like to know what options are available for income when you retire? Would you like to know how many more years you possibly have to work? So those are the engagement questions. When the client goes, yeah, I want to meet with a representative, we're like, great, we'll set you up with an expert. in the pension retirement market who's licensed in the state of Florida or California or whatever state the client's from. From there, the cool part about it, like I said before, is the client actually goes and picks the date and the time they want to meet. And I'll give you an example. Let's just say Tim and I are both working the state of Florida, and a Florida appointment in college market, let's say, and an appointment's created at Florida State University. The system would grab that appointment and look at it and go, well, who's up is it? Or number one, who's in Florida? Well, Rob and Tim are there. Who's up is it? Whose turn is it? Oh, it's Rob's turn. It'd grab the appointment and go, oh, is Rob available 3 o'clock on Tuesday? The cool thing about this is it goes onto a calendar. We're going to show you that in a second. But, you know, just let's say I'm busy. Hey, I have an appointment with one of my old clients. I'm blocked off. The system would go, Rob's busy, not available. Is Tim available? Yes, he is. Bam, it would deliver it to his calendar. So here's one of the cool things about that calendar thing is, you know, if you guys have been in this business for a while, you know how it is. You're like, hey, I want to go on a trip, and, you know, or you win a trip, right? And you're sitting there on your vacation, and you left on a Friday, and you're not getting back till, you know, you're gone for 7 to 10 days. And by Wednesday, you're sitting there by the pool with a funny umbrella and your weird drink, right? And you start thinking to yourself, you know, your kids are playing, whatever's going on, your wife's sitting there beside you, and you're like, you know, I got to go back to work on Monday and I don't have anything on my calendar. Well, the nice thing is with these systems is you just block your calendar out. Hey, I'm gone on vacation. Their marketing stops for you, or you get removed from that campaign basically. And then on Wednesday or Thursday, while you're sitting there, they flip the switch back on, and guess what? All of a sudden, if you go in and check your email while you're sitting there in your lounge chair catching some rays, you're going to see all of a sudden, ding, ding, ding. Oh man, I got 3 appointments on Monday, 2 on Tuesday. So the nice thing is they can fill up your pipeline. And one of the big things I tell agents is, you know, one of the cool things about IAMS is, hey, they have all the tools. They'll create your website. You guys are not website developers or designers or anything else. You might think you are, but you're not. And if you want to be a website developer, then go into that business and don't be in the insurance business, right? I mean, you got to be focused in one place or the other. So the nice thing is I talk to a lot of agents and I go, hey, you want to double or triple up your business? And it's not necessarily about buying appointments, but if I can take your time and utilize it where you're spending 2/3 of your day, because most agents spend typically 2/3 of their day trying to figure out, hey, how am I going to market myself? How am I going to get in front of people? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And then they spend 1/3 of their day in front of clients. Well, that's where you make money, right? And so if we can take those 2/3 of the day, use IAMS to create your website, use IAMS as one of their appointment setting systems, and it may not be one of the ones I represent, you know, but that's okay. You know, you'll get a hold of Tim and the team over at IAMS, and there's some other things that they have for appointment setting that we're not going to talk about today in here that are available through IAMS though, and they'll find out the best spot for you. But the nice thing is if we can fill your calendar up the 2/3 of the day while you're trying to figure out to market yourself, well, all of a sudden your business is going to double or triple. So this game's all about activity. Those of you who fight with, you know, home run, strikeout, I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm rich, I'm poor, it's a pipeline issue. It always has been and it always will be. The big answer to that is keep the flow of business going, keep your pipeline full, make sure you're asking for referrals, all that fun stuff. That also helps. So Tim, what do we got next in the
Well, hey,
card?
I had a couple questions here before we proceed here, Rob, and that was, could you unpack a little bit what it means to be or to conduct an expert pension review with one of these clients?
Absolutely, for sure. So for those of you who don't know this, so let me go back a little bit on one thing. You know, I said the 2 biggest challenges I hear out of agents is number one, how do I meet somebody? We discussed that already. But the second one I hear is how do I, you know, how do I get around? You know, it seems like everybody I know that has a job and has some income or already has a financial advisor. How do I get around that, right? and that becomes a little bit of a challenge. The nice thing is the pension market is very neglected. And so I'll tell you a little quick story. You know, I'm talking to 10,000 agents in a crowd here in Vegas, and I asked them the question, hey, you know, they're all licensed agents. I go, raise your hand if you currently have a, you know, school teacher, a fire person, a policewoman, somebody that participates in a pension, a federal government worker, you know, any of those employees, a professor, whatever. Well, 10,000 hands go up in the air. And I say to them the next thing, hey, how many of you have ever reviewed their pension? Well, out of 10,000 people, there's 5 hands up. And what a lot of people don't know is there's a thing called a pension shortfall or retirement income gap. And it varies from state to state. But typically that shortfall is between 35 and about 55%. There, there is some software available, and Tim can help you guys with that, but there is software available out there that we can put you on to that does pension analysis. But essentially what happens on the appointment, and I am compressing this, most of these appointments are going to be 2 or 3 appointment closers. But, you know, typically that conversation with Sally Sue's school teacher is something along the lines of, hey, Sally, you know, what do you think you're going to retire with? Of course, she doesn't know. Hey, well, give me a guess. And her guess might be something like 80,000 a year. Great, Sally, where'd you get the 80,000 from? Well, I've been teaching for, you know, 18 years, and I've been making 80,000 the last 3 years. So I assume with my time of service and I'm making 80 grand, I'll retire with 80 grand. Hey, great, Sally. Now here's an opportunity. Hey, great, Sally, you told me you had a financial advisor. Did he not ever review this with you? No, why? Well, Sally, can you retire on about 42,000 a year? No, why? Well, let me take you through your pension calculation, right? And then with the software, or you can look it up online, you can manually do it, of course. You would take them through their pension calculation. And at the end of that, it's sort of like the good news, bad news. Hey, Sally, look, the good news is you got a little over half your expectation taken care of. That's the 42,000. The bad news is you're 38,000 short. Hey, Sally, you know, what did your financial advisor put in place to cover the 38 grand? Well, we already know it's nothing. They never reviewed it. Sally, what do you have in place to cover the 38 grand? Nothing, because they never knew about it, right? And so from there, it's sort of help. So that's pretty much what you see on the appointments. Now, I did really compress that. Tim, I don't know if you have a comment on that, what I just said, but.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the additional information there. And I think you definitely stressed, you know, the point in the process. I wanted to make sure, you know, for us at IAMS, we've got over 30 different marketing strategies, and our goal is to help build a multi-vertical marketing plan for you as an agent, so you can have a plan to not only go after those revenue goals, but then also course correct when you need. And the agent that's going to be successful in this process is one that already has a sales process, and then has one of the 2 things that Rob talked about. Either the ability to go out there and identify what that pension shortfall would be, so you've got to be able to know what that number is with your resources, or partner with us over here at IAMS, and we can get you a program extremely low cost that's going to be able to help you with that answer, because that really is your wedge in with these clients, is to provide them with resources, to provide them the answer to those questions. And then from there, like Rob said, 2 to 3 appointments down the road, that's when we're rolling over old, 403Bs and 457s, and getting them into maybe a Roth or some other things that we're talking about later on in the webinar. So I wanted to highlight just the importance of being able to start these appointments off with that confidence, with the ability to answer that question, because it really is the foundation for the types of sales that you're going to get down the road.
Yep, absolutely. Do you want to pop up that next slide, Tim?
You got it. Here it
Let's
comes.
see here. This is not in, we just talked about this a little bit, you know, types of sales opportunities, rollovers, annuities, the 403Bs, 457. There's some of the agents that go out, hey, they're life licensed only agents, and they jump into a college market, they run into a lot of, you know, Fidelity and TIAA. Their pitch is still the same. The only difference is towards the end of it, they introduce the after the good news, bad news, they introduce the pre-tax, post-tax pitch, right? Which is basically, hey, professor, yeah, you know, you got your pension, and yeah, you have your 401A or 403B, depending on what it is and what university. You know, are you aware that you're going to be taxed on both of those? You know, and typically the answer is no. You know, how much do I owe? You know, well, we can only estimate, but taxes usually do what? They're going to reply go up. And then the last thing, of course, what can I do to avoid the tax or have a little less tax vulnerability? They'll turn around and you'll look for the other monies. Hey, well, what else do you have laying around, Professor? I got 200 grand on the couch. Great. You know, let's take 100,000 of that. We'll start up an IUL or an annuity for you. And then let's turn around and instead of you putting $3,000 a month away into your current 401A that's going to be taxed, let's start building this bucket over here. So let's take that out post-tax instead of pre-tax. And so there's a lot of agents that do that side to it as well. Next slide, Tim, I think is probably the calendar. I believe, maybe, if I remember correctly.
It is. Yep.
This is it, baby. So this is an agent's calendar. Tim's going to laugh when I say this, and I know he's going to have comments on it. What you see in there is green. So for those of you, and I mean, I've sold millions and millions of appointments over the years, and I've dealt with hundreds of thousands of agents, and I've heard every story out there. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I got in this appointment system, and you know, they were charging me, you know, $500 an appointment, and I bought $4,000 worth of them, and I only got 2 appointments over the last 3 months. Well, number one is these guys don't charge anywhere near that. That's number one. But number two is, I promise you, make sure you block your calendar out. The gray bars you see are a block. If you do not block your calendar, these companies have the potential to put 5 to 6, 7 appointments on your calendar per day, which is too many for an agent. Everybody's got a little bit different flow, but I will promise you, you know, the big thing to do, you know, start out slow, and then build your process. Once you get your process going, fine, you can open your calendar up. But Tim, we probably couldn't even count the times you and I've had discussions about, you know, hey, Rob, so Agent Steve that we just brought on, you know, we already filled his calendar because he didn't block it out, you know. So I assure you, these guys, there's very few places where you will not be able to receive appointments. I know people are going to ask, hey, is there an area, is there any restrictions? No, there's really not. It's by state. Like I said, if you're not getting enough appointments in one area, you know, you can add another state. And each thing's is independent. So you know, it's going to be K through 12 is one market, college is another market. Can you run them side by side with each other? Yes, you could run colleges, K through 12 and federals all together. That's totally up to you on that side of it. But the big thing is, make sure you block your calendar out for times you're not available. They will not deliver an appointment earlier than you know, 24 hours. So they'll never, you know, you don't have to worry about going to bed and then at midnight somebody goes onto their computer and creates an appointment for 7 in the morning. The systems won't let them do that. So you need not worry about that. But Tim, I don't know, you probably have a comment or two about the calendar for sure.
Yeah, no, like Rob said, make sure you block out when you don't want appointments, because they are going to fill that out. When they do get an appointment, Rob, what information are they sent on the person that they're meeting, and what type of preparation should an agent be prepared to do before that meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So when that appointment's created, basically, and I kind of walked you through, the client actually goes in and schedules the date and the time of the appointment. And, you know, we'll use the example, the appointment gets delivered to Tim, and you can see the box there that says appointment with Benjamin's been highlighted. Not all appointments will have notes, but typically what you can't see on that, if they would have opened it up all the way, it will show the client's full name, what school district they're in, what university they're in, the date, the time of the appointment, the client's email address, the client's phone number to call. Um, on this one, they happen to put notes in there. They're going to be notes on every one. No, this one says moving from Vegas to another district, have 5 years in the district, looking for answers, how much I'll be making in retirement. So you can look at this appointment right away and go, what? Hey, I've got a 403B rollover more than likely, right? Because the client probably started up a 403B at some time. So, separation with service with wherever he is. I don't know where it doesn't say what school district they blocked that out. I don't know why they highlighted that out, but anyway, that would be the information that's in there, and it looks like they when we originally put this together, they blocked some of that information out, but it is there. I promise you that. Aside from being delivered to your calendar, you would also get an email on it. So what that process looks like is when an appointment's delivered to your calendar, you typically will get a text message and or an email, depending on which system you're on, that says, hey, Agent Steve, we just delivered an appointment for you for Thursday, June 11th at 10 o'clock. Please check. If it's a text, it would say, please check your email or your calendar for the information. But all that information's there. As far as process wise, I always tell agents the best thing to do is just call at the time of the appointment. We can give you more suggestions on that. One thing about being an agent, life's about show and tell, not tell and show. Nobody cares that you have your CPSD or your, any degrees. They don't really care. You got to win them over. You got to show them you're more knowledgeable. And the first thing you need to do is review their pension. Once you show them you have knowledge there, that is where the door opening is, because it's usually a shock to most people on that side of it. Tim, I don't know if you have any comments on that at all.
Yeah, and I got a couple questions here too. How far in advance do appointments get scheduled? A week, 2 weeks? So something I think what they're asking is, do you need to block it off at a certain point, or what is that? I know you said they won't schedule closer than a day, but how far will they go out?
We tell agents to block their calendar out about 3 weeks. Typically, we won't let anybody schedule anything further than about 2 weeks out. It's usually 10 to 14 days out. Now, just so you guys know, when that appointment's scheduled, these systems automatically send reminders and stuff. So you don't need to do any of that, meaning, let's just say, today's the 7th, a client creates an appointment for the 15th. These systems will automatically notify the client prior to the appointment. Hey, just a reminder, you have an appointment tomorrow at 3 o'clock. If you are, as an agent, going to, I do have some agents, hey, you're running multiple states, you're calling from a Texas area code into the state of, Colorado, for example. There are some agents that will send a short text, and you need to be smart about it. These people don't want to be sold. They want to have a pension review. When people come across as a salesperson, what happens, the agents that approach this fully on sales blown right out of the hole usually do not succeed. It's more about educating and winning them over that way. It's like, hey, Sally, I'm the representative that's going to be assisting you with your retirement concerns, or Sally, I'm the representative that's going to be going over your pension shortfall or seeing if you do have a pension shortfall. I'll be calling you today at 3 o'clock from this phone number, right? Something like that. Nice and short and sweet. They don't, it's like, hey, I've been fortunate and run some very big companies and been in the position before where I've had, 4 or 5 different financial planners. So I've heard every pitch out there. I'm not impressed that somebody has this or that or whatever. I'm more impressed about, hey, Rob, do you know what a dynasty trust is? No, I've never heard of that. Show me something I haven't heard. And so that's the big thing, is your opportunity is to educate people. And when you show them that you do know more than somebody else, and you start raising those questions, sort of like doing the pension reviews. I've watched agents brand new in this 403B market, meaning the K through 12 market, walk in and take, hundreds and hundreds of clients away from very seasoned, licensed agents that have been in this business for 15 years. So, don't be that comfortable. Now, that person was my wife, and I watched her do that time after time. Just walked in. Well, hey, did your financial advisor ever review your pension? No. Guy, I can't believe that. Why are you saving money? I mean, why do people save money? Save money to retire. Guy, why do you have a financial advisor that's not helping you with your retirement, right? They're being too focused in one position. So lots of opportunity on that side if you present it properly. Tim, do you have a comment on any of that part?
Yeah, for sure. And I got a couple other questions here before we advance to the next slide. So the question was, do we provide our own calendar, or how is that provided? And the answer to that is you're going to use a program called Calendly. Now, there's a free version, and then I think there's a version where it's a few bucks a month. It's
Tim,
with Calendly.
Let me jump in on that. So some of them use Calendly, some of them don't, but you can sync your calendar with, So if you're using a Google Calendar, the question would be, hey, can I sync my current Google or Outlook calendar? Yes, you can with all these systems, whether their system uses Calendly or whether their system just uses their own iCal calendar, like the picture you're seeing right now. This version is an iCal calendar, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense to anybody. But a system like this, you would go in and register in their system. The sign up process is very easy. It's less than a 3-minute process, maybe 5 minutes if you're computer challenged. But you'll be able to go in, sign up. You'd go in and sync your calendar. So you'd sync this calendar. The system would assign you a calendar like this. This calendar would sync with your Google Calendar. If it's a system, one of the appointment systems that does use Calendly, kind of like Tim was just saying, is you would be able to go in there and sync that Calendly calendar system with your either Outlook or your Google Calendar, same deal. So yes, it will sync across calendars. So you would only have to manage one calendar. I think that's really the question that's being asked.
Yep. Next question is the first appointment a phone call or a Zoom, like a video meeting?
So it's typically a phone call. Now there are, we ask them what they prefer. We ask the clients what they prefer. Some agents will see some appointments come in the notes that says they prefer a Zoom for the first meeting, but it is up to the client. So you'll get a mixture of both, but I would say predominantly it's going to be a phone call on that first meeting. The second meeting, the goal of the first meeting, the goal of any first appointment, unless you're doing mortgage protection or final expense, is to, these aren't one and done, these aren't one close appointments, these are clients, not customers, is to create a second appointment. That's another area. One of the biggest challenges I see with agents, and it's not just about pumping appointments to you guys, but a little helpful hint. I watch agents struggle with that all the time, even on referrals. They get a referral from somebody, they go to the first appointment, but never get the second appointment. And so two things happen. If you have a high no-show rate on your second appointments, you're either delivering too many goods in your first appointment, or you're not setting your second appointment properly. And that's by telling them, that's where you tell, right? Show and tell. So you're showing them they need you, and then you're going to tell them when they're showing up, right? You don't ask, you tell. So a lot of agents will go through the first appointment, perfect pitch on any appointment, referral or from one of these systems, and they end up saying something like, hey, Sally, don't worry about your shortfall. I'm going to go back to my office. I'm going to find out what the best upgrades or options are. I like those two words because everything's an upgrade or an option, right? Whether you buy a house, a car, or an airplane ticket. And I'm going to go back to my office and find out what the best upgrades or options are for you. And then the agent says the wrong thing, and then I'll get back to you, or I'll try and call you on Tuesday, or something else. It needs to be, hey, Sally, I'm going to find out what the best options or upgrades are for you. I'm available this Thursday at either 3 or 4 o'clock. Which day and time works best? People are complacent. You're going to get pushed back. You need to be prepared for it. And she's going to go, well, why don't you just call me? Well, Sally, you know, I get super busy with a bunch of clients. I'm going to pencil you in for 3 o'clock Thursday. If something pops up, you know, we'll get it rescheduled. Otherwise, plan on hearing from me 3 o'clock Thursday. I have somebody waiting for me on Zoom, another teacher just like you. I got to run, but I'll talk to you 3 o'clock on Thursday. That's scheduling a second appointment. So, you know, that's a little bit of an issue, but that second appointment is typically a Zoom meeting to answer that question fully. I think agents do better there. It's easier to present with some of the softwares out there. You know, it's nice when people see those graphs and they see that line graph of, hey, here's the greens, what you're making, the reds, your shortfall, and you can see that's escalating. You know, they always say a picture says 1,000 words, and there you go. So any other questions in that part, Tim?
Yeah, no, I think we've got another question, but it's getting ready to likely get answered. It's around how much are the federal appointments, and do you have to buy them in a block, or can they be purchased individually? So with that, I think that's 2 slides away, but we'll go ahead and go over here to the next slide talking about the pricing there for those educational leads or
Yeah,
appointments.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you owe me $20, Tim. So
I did it.
I'll get that at one of the adventures when I see. I'm kidding. So the appointments are $64 an appointment, K through 12 or college. IAMS has taken care of sign-up fees, monthly access fees, registration fees. This is going to be the lowest price point in appointments. From there, they bounce up to $75. Some of the appointment companies do have contracts, some of them don't. The one we're talking about right now has 0 contracts. There's no minimums, no maximums. They do not pre-bill you anything. You'll basically go in and register. You'd put your credit card in the back office. You basically accept their user end agreement. And then you would go in next and you would block your calendar out. You'd pick the school districts, areas you want to run in, and put a credit card in the back office. Tell them to flip the switch. They'll go ahead and flip the switch. How they bill you is they bill you would be $64 an appointment on the evening of the appointment. So if you had 2 appointments today, they bill you $64. I know somebody's going to ask about no-shows. At $64, do they bill on no-shows? Yes, they do. Unfortunately, they will take care of you right out of the hole. So in the beginning, they do take care of you. And they will remove some of those appointments, but in general, they kind of say, hey, we don't take care of no-shows. They basically follow the line of, they look at, hey, we've got 2,000 agents we sell appointments to. The average no-show rate is, 4.2% or whatever it is. And if an agent comes in at 33.4%, they know something's wrong. That's where they'll kind of get on you a little bit and tell you at that time. But the nice thing with these guys, no minimums, no maximums. If you want to go on 5 appointments, Grant, go on 5 appointments. One of the other questions is, hey, what's a good test number, right? Hey, what should I buy in appointments for a good test number? If an agent asks me that, I usually tell them in the 20 to 30 area, typically. One of the appointment systems up from here in that same type of market, they do take care of no-shows. Those guys are going to be, I think, $75 an appointment, I believe. They are 75. Those guys do pre-bill, and then you do have a commitment. It's a minimum of 20 appointments a month. So just depends what you like. The federal market, and I know that was one of the questions. The federal market is a very compressed market. Well, what does that mean? There's only 3.5 or 3.7 million federal employees. And unfortunately, some of that data is very protected, meaning you might have somebody that works for the Department of Defense. You might have an FBI officer or agent. You might have somebody that's an IRS agent, whatever. Well, that information gets protected. So we don't know. We know the job exists. We know how much they get paid, but we don't have their name. And when we don't have their name, we don't have information to contact them. So That knocks about 1/3 of the information out of there. So that compresses that market big time. When you do opt in for feds with these guys, the lowest price is going to be $75 an appointment. They do not take care of any no-shows at that price. The next one up from there is going to jump up, I think, to about $100 an appointment. Is that right, Tim, with Clifford? I think he's about 100,
Yep.
as I remember.
Yep.
And then,
Yes.
there, I think you have an additional one that's 110 an appointment. So, and that's something we can discuss. If you're, typically the process, to get started. That's the other thing. A lot of agents go, "Hey, how long does it take me to get appointments?" Well, if you signed up through IAMS today, once Tim sends you over to me, we'll have a quick discussion on what appointment system fits you best. I'll get you onboarded and up and running. But like the $64 one, if I got you registered in there today, you could have appointments by probably as soon as Friday, I would think, of this week. But it's usually, 4 to 7 days before you'll see your first appointment, typically, on that side of it. So hopefully that answers a few of those questions. The big thing is a lot of you guys are going to be going, "Hey, what's the next step?" The next step's reaching out to Tim and the team over at IAMS. And then, they'll feel you out a little bit. They'll put you in direct contact with me. We'll have a one-on-one about what you're really looking for and what your business is like, because each and every one of you have a little bit different practice. And we'll find out what suits you best. Because we do want to make sure you're on something that you're successful with and that you're getting ROI from. So,
Just to specifically answer that question on the federal leads, they don't have to be bought in a block, correct? But we do encourage you to purchase at least 20 to 30 to make sure you have a good at-bat opportunity and can give it a fair shot. Is that accurate?
Yeah, there is one company in there that requires a block, though. There is one company you have in there that does. So, which is a minimum, I think, of 20 appointments a month.
Gotcha. So that kind of depends there. And we do have options to where you don't have to buy them in a block, or they're one where it would be. Next question is, what's involved in the VIP status with the discounted VIP pricing? Interested in what your comment is on this one. I've got one, but I'll let you take a hack here, Rob.
No, absolutely. So the VIP pricing, I mean, typically these appointments are about $90 per appointment. You guys are getting an inside price through IAMS. And the waive fees, I mean, there's usually monthly access fees, sign-up fees, registration fees, that type of stuff. That's all been taken care of. So on that side with IAMS. So I don't know what other comment you have on that part, Mr. Tim.
Oh, I was going to just additionally say, I think a big part of that is the discounted pricing, the relationship that we have with these providers. We don't just go out there and say, okay, you've got, appointments. We want to partner with you. We partner with programs that are responsive, so when there is an issue, you're going to be able to talk to somebody. It's not just send an email and wait for that smoke signal response to come back. You're going to be able to work with us over here at IAMS. Rob's obviously a contact that can be going straight to. So I think it's the customer service and the discounted pricing is how we get that VIP pricing. It's not just something that you can go get off of the street. You're getting more than that for a reduced cost.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. What else do we have? Any more questions in there? Oh, we need to talk about your high-end ones too.
So I was going to say if you were looking for, these the appointments that we talked about today are with folks who are looking for that pension review. If you're looking for somebody who's maybe a different status on that path to purchase, and they're looking specifically for a life insurance product or specifically for a fixed or a fixed indexed annuity, there's going to be other options to where we can get you an appointment with someone and to go over their current annuity to see if one of the, if you met with somebody right now and they've got an annuity that's, let's say, anywhere 4 to 8 years old, if we looked at the caps, the pars, and the features that they had 4 to 8 years ago, and then we looked at them now, man, a replacement conversation is a pretty easy one to have. So those are, going to be different appointment options that we have there in that high-end qualified lead and appointment space.
One
And then the
other
other
thing,
thing I wanted to, yeah, go for
on
it.
well, no, on the federal side too, those guys, those of you going, hey, what kind of training does IAMS have? This is one of the things I love about IAMS is, they're putting some things together with some of their agents that have done very well in those markets. And so I don't know if that's what you were going to bring up next, Tim, but I know you put that program together. And for the federal thing on the training side, so those of you who do not have any idea what you're doing, there's a huge opportunity to create another pipeline for you and get actively involved, with some very, very in-depth training on the federal market, at least, I believe. Is that correct, Tim?
Yep, it absolutely is correct. And so there's two main areas of what that training is going to address. The first is of helping you. So you're out in the market right now, you've got a sales process, but you've never worked with a federal employee, and you want to be that expert that can do that pension review for them. So that's going to be the first part, is understanding the federal space, how to have, how to adapt your sales process to the federal retirement information. And then the other part is, how do you maximize those appointments? What are some things that federal employees don't have as far as insurance options? Where does life insurance become more or a better option outside of the government as opposed to within their federal retirement space? These are tips and tricks that our training program is going to teach you. So it not only helps you develop that sales process, but it also helps you grab all of those crumbs, get all of that wallet share for you so you can maximize each of those appointments. And then the other one that I was going to bring up is, let's say that you've got some leads in the past and they are unengaged right now. They're just, they were a hot lead at one point, maybe it was 5-10 years ago, and you need a process to re-engage those. That's where that marketing review would be a great option for you. Like I mentioned earlier, we have over 30 different marketing strategies. My goal as a sales director is to meet you where you're at and help you get to where you want to go. And typically a good process to get there is to build a multi-vertical marketing strategy. So it's important to get in front of new clients. It's also important to engage old clients and to do training. And over here at IAMS, I think we have a really good group of programs to do just that. And obviously, working with Rob and all of his preset appointments that we talked about today is a huge part of that marketing strategy that could be, a big revenue add for you. So those were my comments. We'll give a little bit last moment here. I'm going to launch a last poll. And then Rob, you can, give any wrap up comments here. So the last poll there is going to be, would you like some more information about these preset appointment options that we talked about today? And I'll let you go ahead and any last comments here, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, hey, how hard is it to get started? Pick up the phone, reach out and call Tim and the team over there, and he'll get you up and running and get you in contact with me directly. And like I started this out, hey, where's your scoreboard? It's like I said, 5 months ago, you set a goal for yourself. And, if you said, hey, I want to make 400 grand this year because you made 200 last year, and you're not at 200 almost, you need to, like I said, be looking at the scoreboard. Don't wait until the fourth quarter and go, oh man, I'm 300 grand behind on my goal. You aren't going to make it more than likely, right? So this is an opportunity to make a little change. IAMS provides a ton of support. One other last comment I had, and Tim brought it up, but one of the things I do love about IAMS, and I'm in contact with these guys 2 to 5 times, 10 times a week sometimes, depending on the week. And the one thing I love is when I call that 800 number, 800-255-5055, a live actual body picks up that phone every time. And once in a while, I even get Steve, one of the main principals on the phone. So, I mean, they all answer the phone over there, let me tell you. So, Tim, I appreciate the time for sure. Everyone, thank you for your time and spending the time with us. I know your time's valuable, and that's all I've got.
Awesome, Rob. Well, there's no additional questions. Everybody who's still on the call, will get you a recap, a link to watch this in case you had any other questions. But if you're watching this on YouTube down the road and you want to give me a buzz, as Rob said, live person at 800-255-5055. Have a great afternoon or morning wherever you're at. Thank you. Bye now.